Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
Hello everyone, this is Lyria Moore and this is a Team NEOS first. We are going to start having spotlight interviews. Who are we interviewing? Wonderful Team NEOS members who are having success in their business and who are living examples of the Team NEOS logo, our motto, no excuses, only solutions. Today, I am talking with Olivia Porter, who is definitely a living embodiment of that line, no excuses, only solutions. Right, Olivia?
Right.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
That's nice to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, now I've heard your story before, but everybody else didn't. So let's start from the beginning. Now, what was the first interaction with e-commerce and DS Domination?
Around March of 2014, I think Nicole, as a matter of fact, turned me on to DS Domination, and I looked at their videos, and I was like, you know what, this might work. I had some people doing it prior, and it was working okay for them. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. Why not? So I started selling on eBay. The same day that I watched DS Domination videos for the first time, I opened an eBay account, and that very first day I sold 7 items.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
And just went on from there, and finally got out of what I call eBay jail, you know, where they put you in your 90-day probation period until you establish yourself as a seller and responsible and trustworthy. And I just continued. Most of my sales in the first 90 days were DVDs, books, music. I would just like go to pawn shops or, flea markets or whatever, and just buy up really cheap, $1.50 DVDs that weren't scratching on. I'd look at them and make sure they weren't, they were in really good condition, because I don't like selling anything that's scratched. And I would buy them up every couple of days. I was going and spending $20-$30 and just buying up what I could, but listing them on eBay, and they were like boom, boom, boom. They were just selling so I was making profit, and I was, able to roll over that profit into buying more stuff. And I did that for the first 90 days. Then I started drop shipping. And it just kept going and kept going. And then I want to say around November of last year, it was horrible. It was a real horrible time, but I ended up going below standard and had to go back in 90-day jail because I guess I hadn't got the gist of how returns work, because it was only 8 months after I started, less than 8 months. And, I didn't know the whole ins and outs, and I really didn't have anybody teaching me other than the DSD videos that were out at the time. And so I ended up going below standard on my eBay, which, when you go below standard, they put you in another 90-day or until you come out of back above standard. So depending on how bad your percentage went to go below standard is on whether it's just going to be until you go back above standard, or if it's like a 90-day. But I went so bad. I went I think at the time they allowed 5%, and I went to 7%. It was really bad. So it was really bad. So I ended up going to have to go through another 90 days. So I stopped drop shipping, and I went back to arbitraging, buying, and went back to the DVDs. I think by then I had enough money saved up, I could buy small appliances and stuff. Coffee pots and toasters. And so whatever I could buy and put in my house, and that wasn't going to cost too much to ship, because I always offer free shipping. Then I would go out and buy it and bring it and sell it. It took me so that was in November, around this time, around November 20th of last year. that I went below standard, and it took me until March, believe it or not, it took me 4 months to get back above standard. And then I went, started drop shipping again while I was still arbitraging too, because I was like, okay, if I make another mistake and I go below standard, if I take all my eBay profits and I take them and I go buy stuff and I have in my house in case anything happens, I don't have to struggle to keep my eBay going. Because when I went below standard, they took all my limits away. Like I had gotten up to like well over $200,000, and I want to say it was like 2,200 items. And when I went below standard, they dropped me all the way back to the minimum of the $100 and $1,000. So that really bit. But then I slowly worked my limits back up, every month, the same day, every month. I don't care if I had to, list like crazy. I got a limit increase every month. I don't joke with that. Every month on the 15th, I call eBay, and I've already spent all my limits, because I'll make sure everything's at zero. Even though eBay says you have to use at least 80%, I think it is, of whatever your limits are before they'll give you an increase. I use it all. I'm just like, if it's sitting at zero, they can't tell me no. And I also noticed that also if it's sitting at zero, for the most part, at least it's worked for me, when I call to get a limit increase, they give me double whatever I had that I had listed. So like say I had $100,000 and I used it all, including my, say I had $100,000 in 1,200 items, and I listed all 1,200 items and all $100,000. When I called to get my limit increase, they would increase it to 300,000. So they would double it. So at the moment where I sit is I'm just shy of $750,000 that I can list. I'm like right at 700,000, just shy of 700,000, and 5,400 items, some outrageous number that I'll probably never hit, but it's okay. I'll work on it. What else you got for me? What else?
Okay. That is amazing. That is just, you have laid down so much in that first little segment. Okay. You made sure that your limits were always maxed out. That is very, very important, as you have just told us. And you made sure you called them, so I want everyone to just, remember, don't be afraid to call eBay. They like it when you call, especially when you're doing work like Olivia was doing.
What they look at is they look at active eBay members. And when you're calling, like there were times that I even called earlier and they're saying, no, you got to wait. And I'm like, but I got stuff to list. If you would just give me just a little bit more, please. I would beg them. Of course, it never worked, but I at least tried. And it never hurts to try, because you might get someone that actually might feel a little sorry for you and do it for you. You don't know. But I made sure that on the same date every month, I have never failed to call on that same date every month and get a limit increase.
Wow, that is good. That's gold right there. Okay, there's one other thing I wanted to go back and go over. How long was your account under standard?
I think it was right at about 4 months. It was November. I went below standard in November because I had like 3 returns, all like back to back and back, and then some negative feedback that went with it, and that killed me. So it was like November. I want to say it was like right around November 20th of 2014. So it was the end of March of 2015. So December, January, February, March. So about 4.5 months that I was below standard, because it's a lot. It's real easy to get below standard, but in order to get yourself back above standard, you have to sell like 4 times the amount of what got you below standard.
Wow. Okay. So now, how did you handle that mentally? Because I know that might knock a lot of people down.
Rough. I basically said to myself, well, I haven't put all this time and effort in, and I see that it works, because I went crazy the first 8 months. I was, I think I was, on average, I was probably, even like when I was originally in the eBay jail, I think I was averaging about $300 to $400 a month. And that was just with DVDs, books, and movies. So, or DVDs, music, and books. Some stuff that I would sell for maybe like $3 or $4. This wasn't for any big profit. Like I was making maybe $1 or $2 dollar profits for the first 90 days because I wasn't aware that I could, the whole profit margins like I am now. I've learned, but so you're talking on per item, maybe. My average, I think, was maybe $2 in profit per item after eBay fees, PayPal fees, and, shipping and all of that. And I would still average for the first 3 months, I still averaged about $400 a month in profit.
Okay. And then when you were in trouble with eBay, did you go back to that same model?
I went back to the same thing because that's what worked for me at the beginning. So why would I change that up? The only thing different that I did the second time is I had a little bit more money to spend. And when I talked to eBay, when I went to eBay prison or eBay jail, whatever you want to call it, I asked them, how much do I have to sell to get out of eBay? Because they can give you those numbers. They are based on where your percentage is now, as long as you don't have any returns or any negative feedback or, any defects or whatever, all the stuff that would affect your seller rating on eBay. They told me basically you need to sell about 600 items. That's a lot. I mean, it was overwhelming. I was like, really? That is never going to happen. There is no way. I mean, on my best month, the most I had ever sold was about 150 items on my best month. So how the heck am I going to do 600? How am I going to do this? So what I did is I went, like I said, every week I would spend, again, I went through everything. I went 100, I spent about $100 on stuff, arbitraging, bringing stuff in the house, whether it was at flea markets, just different places where I could get stuff dirt cheap and come home and sell it.
That was good that you actually called them and asked for specifics like that, because some people, I guess, even when that happens to them, they're so knocked down and just so distraught, that they might not even be able to think straight enough to say, hey, what will get my business back on track? Like they're just so caught up in the negative that happens.
When I first went below standard, I was devastated. I went to my husband. I was like, I quit. I give up. There's no way I can do this. Especially once, I saw how far below standard I was. I was like, I don't see any way out. I don't see how this is going to work. And my husband was like, don't give up. Calm down. Because I was yelling, screaming, throwing stuff. I was mad, because it was over something stupid that really wasn't even my fault. But as far as like, you can't help that something is broken when it ships. We all know the shipping companies are not easy on packages. But in eBay, well, the way eBay looks at it is the seller's fault. You need to make sure that the buyer gets whatever they get in the condition you said it's going to be in. So if it doesn't, then it falls back on the buyer. Plain and simple. That's just how it works. And so I was like, man, I don't know, babe. So, I think it was a couple of days, and I was like, woosah, rub my ears, calm down, think through it. So I got to the point where I could think through it. And then that's when I called eBay and I was like, okay, I get that I'm below standard. I get that, my money's going to be held up again. I get, I understand the whole, because it hadn't been very long since I got out of eBay jail anyway, the first time. What do I got to sell? Give me the numbers. I need numbers. It's basically, because I'm a number. If I have a goal that I can look at, like what I did is once they gave me the numbers, I stuck a little sticky pad on the side of my monitor on my computer. And with every item that I sold, I marked down how many more I had to sell.
That is so inspiring. That is a great
oriented. If I set myself a goal, I'm more than likely to reach that goal than if I just say, well, I'll just do the best I can do and hope for the best. I'm not like that. If I have like I wouldn't say tunnel vision, because I will go off in different areas, but if I have like, I want to buy a house next year, I have that goal to get that house next year. And I'm going to give it 180%, a full throttle until I hit that goal. And it may not happen within that time, because I was hoping to be out of standard within a month. It didn't happen. It took me 4 months, but I didn't give up. And that's the thing. you can't, just because it doesn't happen in your time frame doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You just have to keep, as long as you're working to have it happen, it will work.
And that is the definition of no excuses.
I don't want to list today because I just don't feel like it. Well, 2 days ago, I blew out my knee. I mean, my kneecap just turned sideways on me. And I haven't been able to walk very well. I still went out arbitraging yesterday and today because I'm like, I got to have product in my house. The holidays are coming. A lot of people online are going to run out of stock. I want to make sure I have stock in my house so that I'm not going to run out of stock when everybody else is out of stock. They're going to come to me and say, hey, I'll pay higher dollar if you can get this item for me. Oh, you know what? I do have one of these at my house. I purposely bought one yesterday knowing that people are running low on stock.
Yes, you are. Oh, that is so
that
good.
Just happened to me earlier today. There was a guy, because he can't find, the Fast and the Furious CDs 1 through 7 with the little tire. It just came out because the new movie came out. Well, Walmart's out of stock. Amazon is out of stock. Target's out of stock. All these so this guy had bought it from one person and they had to refund him because they were out of stock. Then he tried to buy it from another person that still had it listed. They had to refund him because they couldn't find it in stock. But I'm like, you know what? When he messaged me, because he saw that I had it in stock for a lot higher than what they were selling it for. Oh, there goes my cha-ching. Sorry.
You just
He asked me if I had any in stock. Well, I went to my little stock room over here, stuff that I have. And I was like, I actually have 3 of them. So I said, yes, I do have some stock because I had just went 3 days ago and bought the last 3 that the Walmart had here. Because I knew they were going to be selling.
So on the trend
because I had already sold quite a bit of them myself.
Yeah.
So I knew they were selling. So I was like, I'm gonna go see if they have them at Walmart. I did this like the first day I got my car. It was the very next day. I went and got the last 3 they had on the shelves.
Wow.
So I was able to, where other people were only getting like $30 for them, I was able to get $90 for it.
Ooh, you did it. Go on ahead.
Arbitraging really worked, but having stuff, especially during the holidays, because everybody goes out of stock. There's no way around it.
Right.
When you're just drop shipping.
Now you touched on a lot of things with mindset, and I wanted to just go back over. No, you're doing good. You're doing good. You are giving a lot of real life examples, for people to really get a good idea of what to do and how to think. This is good. You're going to hopefully change how some people think about their business.
That's good.
I wanted to ask you, what would you say to people who are not listing because maybe they're afraid of what happened to you will happen to them with the returns? Now, what would you say about that?
Okay. I look at it, maybe it's because I've had so many returns. Even, right now, just to give you a little, it's not always easy on eBay. You got to deal with people, and people are so unpredictable. They may return it because, they changed their mind. They may return it because they say that it's broken, but then when you get it, there's nothing wrong with it. They come up with different reasons why they return something. And as the seller, you're stuck having to give refunds if they want to return the item. Now, if they don't return it, that's a whole nother story. That's when you can say, well, you didn't return it, I'm not refunding you, and you go through eBay and you go through that whole, 5 to 7 day process of waiting for everything to work itself out. Just to give you a little bit of, at the moment, I have 7 returns open on me. So, but out of those 7 returns, only one of them has actually returned the item. So, and these are all people that I made a mistake on one of my listings, and, my bad. I had to, contact 6 of these sellers or buyers and say, hey, dude, you're not, before the item even shipped or right after the item shipped, I was like, you're not going to get the right item because I made a typo on my listing. My bad. I'm willing to give you a full refund if you just either refuse the item when you get it, or take the shipping label that I provided them before they even got, all had return shipping labels. Before they even got the items, they had a return shipping label so that they could return it. And because I did that, because I was honest with them, because there's a lot of eBay, a lot of people that are not honest like that and would own up to their mistakes. But because I was honest with them, every single one of them gave me positive feedback. And only one of them actually returned the item because the other ones were like, well, I can get it to work with what I needed it for. So I'll just go ahead and keep it. Or I'm in Ecuador and can't return it. Well, that's not my fault.
Wow. So
I'm not going to refund you if I'm not going to get my product back.
Yes. Okay. So now you hit on something entirely different, which is customer service. You have extremely great customer service. So
you have to.
Yes. So if anybody is listening out there and they're kind of scared to talk to their customers, Olivia's telling you right here.
Be honest with them. Be honest, because most people want you to be honest with them. What I would say as far as having fears of returns, dude, I can tell you this. Don't ever be afraid to list. Because how are you going to make money if you don't list? If you're not putting the work in, the work, it's not going to just come to you. You're not going to just, I tell a friend of mine this every day on a daily basis. If you don't list, you can't make money. If you calling me up and saying, why are you selling? And I'm not selling. Well, I'm going to say, well, how many items do you have listed? Oh, well, about 150. Really? Are you listing every day? When I know that this particular person has been on eBay for almost as long as I have, and they only have 150 items, something's wonky there. Either they're selling like crazy and they can't keep up with listing, or, which I know is not the case, or they're not listing like they should. Because I've been on eBay two years and I sell on a daily basis anywhere from 5 to 10 items. It differs. And I have 650 items up. Wow. So you tell me why you only have 150 items.
Right.
You're not listing, and she tells me, well, because I'm scared if I list too much, I'm going to get returns, or, she doesn't call for a limit increase either, which is a big thing. How can you keep listing if you're not continuously getting limit increase? Because you're going to hit your limits. And then if you're not calling eBay and asking eBay for a limit increase because you're scared they won't give you one, or whatever the case, how do you keep listing?
Right.
I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna list at least 5 items every day, even on a day that I feel like doo-doo. I actually do about 20 a day, but I will not let myself do less than 5 listings a day.
Right.
Because it goes back to eBay looks at active members. People that are active on eBay, you get higher up on the list that people see you. If you're listing every day and, like, let's say you reached your limits and it's not time for you to call for a limit increase yet. Then what you do is you go into some of your items and tweak the title a little bit. You tweak the price maybe by a cent or two, because eBay still sees that you're active. And so they're going to put your items above people that are less active, that are saying, well, I'm going to list 2 items today, and then tomorrow maybe I'll do 1, and the next day I don't do any, and the next day I don't do any. Well, that's wishy-washy. So this person asks me all the time, how are you selling? And I'm not. Well, because I put the time and effort in, and I'm not afraid of returns, because you can, if you use your customer service skills, treat people like you would want to be treated if you were the customer. Most of these people, for the majority, you do get some buttholes, excuse my language, but for the most part, most of these people are understanding and they will work with you. Yeah. I've had people where they had a return of like $500-600 and wanted to return something that was $600. And between talking to them and explaining to them the situation and working, going back and forth with them on eBay and like 1,000 messages, I only end up having I'm like, you can keep the item, and I will refund you such and such amount, whether it's, just whatever my profit was, because that's what I just did to somebody. I just refunded them my profit, and it saved face because I didn't make me go below standard on eBay, so they didn't have to open up return. I just said, okay, you know what? I'll just go ahead and give you the profit. I'll give you the $50 back, and I'll even pay the eBay fee, because I don't really care about the eBay fee.
Right.
So there's one thing to help me keep my stuff above standard, and it's going to continue to make me a top-rated seller.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, you are hitting on this. So, okay. How is your account looking now? You said you have 700 items. Now, are you a top-rated seller or are you a power seller?
I am a power seller. At the moment, I'm not top rated because I had some cancellations that, so it took me just that one area. I'm not top rated where, until February anyway, because things are changing in February on eBay. So in February, I'll be top rated again. But as of right now, I'm not, because I had some cancellations that I had to do. And, that all counts against your seller rating. Right. But I'm only like 0.2 of a point from top rated. Okay. So it's not really, I do have 100% feedback because I work with my customers. I stay in communication. If their shipment is going to be a day later than when I said it was going to be there, I contact them as soon as I know, let them know, hey, there was a delay in your shipment. It is coming. Keep track of the tracking, watch the tracking number. But it is coming. It's just not going to be there on this day. If people ask me, can you ship it faster? Well, it depends on how fast they want. I might charge them shipping. Sometimes I might. It just depends on how fast they need it. It's all about working with somebody and dealing with. You have to keep an open mind, and you have to deal with whatever comes your way. And if you're not willing to do that, then that's why you're afraid to list. That's why you're afraid of returns, because you're not willing to do whatever it has to do. I had a return that was $920, and it put my PayPal in the negative $920. This was 2 months ago. In 6 days, because I was listing, and because I was determined to sell my way out of this 900. It was almost $1,000. In 6 days, I sold my way out of that, and I was ahead on my eBay, meaning I was no longer red. I sold all 900 and some odd dollars that I was in the red, plus another $500. So I not only surpassed that $950 to get my PayPal back in the green, but then I had an extra $500 in my PayPal account.
Wow. Good.
So I know that you can sell your way out of returns if you're listing. Mm-hmm. And your titling is right, and everything that DS Domination teaches you, your titling, your listing, your pictures are important, because believe it or not, a lot of people, all they really look at, they don't look at the description. Right. They look at the title and the picture. Wow. Then when they get the item and they say, well, it didn't say in your listing that such and such, well, you better go back and look at the listing, because it did say it in there. You just didn't read it. Now that's not how I talk to people. Right. Well, sir, ma'am, whatever their name is. And I try to call all my customers by their name.
Right.
Because it makes it more personal.
Yes.
I say, sir, ma'am, yes, it was in the listing. It's under the description.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't say you charge taxes. Yes, it does. You have to look under shipping and shipping and returns. So, I point them in the direction, and they're like, oh, well, darn, I guess I should have read. Right.
Well, you seem very, 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 very experienced. You are full of
a lot.
questions. Yeah, and I wanted to ask, I know a lot of people, this is another question that I hear a lot. When you have a lot of listings, another thing that kind of holds people back maybe, or people get held up on, is how do you keep track of all of those listings to make sure that, things don't go out of stock, or the prices are not, messed up?
I have a spreadsheet that I use. Mm-hmm. And I have a list of every item that I have listed on eBay, almost 700 of them. Mm-hmm. And yes, it takes time, but dude, if you're not willing to put time into a business, then why are you in it? Ooh. Yes, it takes time to sit there and check each one of them. Now, some of them, I don't have to check them every day. I'm not scared to sell anything. Mm-hmm. And I was at first. I was like, why should I? Oh, I'm totally scared to list anything over a certain amount of money. That was my biggest fear. I wasn't afraid of returns. I was afraid to list anything over a certain amount of money, because what if, they're out of stock? What if my PayPal goes in the red because I can't buy it? Not so much for returns, but because I can't get it. What if, for whatever reason, something happens, and, that's what I was afraid of. Right. And I couldn't see the bigger picture till a certain somebody, I won't name her name, Nicole Whitlock, told me, I don't remember exact words, but it came across as, how do you expect to make the big profit if you're not if you're going to be afraid to list whatever? So what I did is, after, I think it was like the first week after she told me that, I went and I listed like, I think I listed like a $3,000 item, a $5,000 item, a $10,000 item. And then I think it was a week later, I sold the $5,000 item.
Wow.
So it's like, okay. And the profit on that was like $500 I made on that one thing. Well, dude, okay, yay. And I never got returned. So yay, party over here. Olivia's got $500 in the bank that, and that was after paying all the eBay fees on it. So that was all profit. So I'm like, okay, I'll list a $20,000 car. I'll list, if that's, now I don't necessarily list cars, but, I'm not afraid to list. There's not a price out there that I'm afraid to list anymore. That was my biggest thing. I wasn't so much afraid of returns because I had dealt with so many.
Right.
Once you deal, I think with me, once I dealt with a big return, a big money return, the fear of returns goes away. Mm-hmm. It really does, because when you see that you can sell your way out of a return like that by just listing 5 items every day and staying active on eBay. I'm telling you, stay active, list every day. You'll sell yourself out of any return that you may get anyway. Mm-hmm. Because there's people on a daily basis looking for stuff to buy from you. Mm-hmm. You just got to put it up there. How do you expect to make money if you're not putting something up there for people to buy?
There you go. Okay, that leads to my next question. I wanted to find out, how far do you think you can take DS Domination, and where do you see yourself going in the future?
Dude, DS Domination is limitless, and eBay and Amazon, and I even sell on Bonanza. This is all limitless. I mean, okay, so I'll go back to my most recent success that I had. Okay, Labor Day. Was it Labor Day, Memorial Day, whatever last Wednesday was?
Oh,
I bought a car.
Yeah,
I bought a car with all of my eBay profits.
What?
I haven't had a car for over a year because my husband's car broke down and he took mine that he had bought for me. And I've been having to depend on everybody else to take me where I got to go for a year. But I said, I will have me a car come Christmas this year. I will not rest until I have a car. Well, I got it almost a month earlier, a month before Christmas, and I took every single one of my eBay profits and whatever I didn't have to put back in returns or, arbitrage with or whatever, I stuck in my savings account and I did not touch it. You can't touch it if you're saving it for a specific thing. I did not touch it. Well, an opportunity came up for me to be able to get a car. And I was like, okay, I got this much money down. It's in my bank account. I will give it to you right now if you'll let me have this car. And they did, and I was able to get me a 2014 Chrysler 200. Beautiful car. It's white. And I am totally excited because now what I haven't been able to do in the last year is arbitrage, because I haven't had a vehicle, or I've had to ask other people to take me to go shopping to get stuff for eBay. Now I'm out there every day. I mean, I'm surprised I'm home now. That's just because I have this meeting. So, or I would be out there. I really want to get to one of these outlet stores that's having a sale right now. But I also want you guys to know, whoever watches this video, that it can be done. So right now, this is more important. When I finish here, I'll go arbitrage, but I've had a lot of success. I mean, you're asking me what I see in the future. Our short-term goals right now in my household is to, by this time next year, or close to this time next year, we want to move to Dallas, Texas, from where we're at, because we have family member there that can really use our help, as far as with their children and stuff, because she's a single mom and she needs some help. And my husband, is a strong, strapping young man, so our goal is to be able to make enough this year for my husband to retire from his job, because he does work out of the home. I don't. I get to stay home all day, but for him to retire from his job, to have enough that when we do move to Dallas, to be able to buy a house outright and be able to basically sustain ourselves every month to take care of our bills or whatever, and then some, to still be able to arbitrage. We're also, come the beginning of the year, I'm getting my husband, because he originally started eBay, but he had some issues where his eBay got closed down, his PayPal got messed up. So by the beginning of the year, all that's going to be fixed. So he's going to go back on eBay. We're going to start him on FBA and Amazon as well. So the possibilities are limitless if you just put the work in, because sooner or later you're going to get to the point where you don't even have to you have all these people working for you. All you got to do is say, hey, you do that, you do that, you do that. You be the dictator and you got all the money coming in, but someone once told me that when you can't look at eBay, Amazon, whatever outlet you're using to sell, hopefully it's all of them. Great. Because it's more money for you, but you can't look at it as a job, because if you look at eBay, e-commerce as a job, you'll never get anywhere. Your mindset needs to be, it's a business. It's a business. It's going to make me retire from my job, or it's going to make my life so much easier, my bills easier to manage. I'm never going to you got to look at it as a business. But on the flip side of that, most businesses can take up to 5 years before you actually get in the black, And so you're going to have to go through the ups and downs, like apparently I've been doing, and I'm okay with that, because I'm like, you know what? It's about to go Donkey Kong over here. I'm about to have, me and my husband, we're at the point now, we've cleared out one of our master bedrooms in our house just for product.
Wow.
Because we are about to blow up like crazy. And I know it. I feel it. I see it. When I sat here right before the meeting today, and I had to make you wait because I had 5 orders back to back to back, like, come on. And all it was because I listed 5 items this morning. I never even got to the whole 20. I was only able to list 5 because my dogs were going nuts. And my mom, because I'm getting my mom in the business. I got my sister in the business. I got my sister's friend in the business. My husband's in the business, because I really believe in this. And I can't tell you other than to set your goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. In the long term, I want to be a millionaire, dude. I want to be able to give back to charities. I want to be able to help those that are in need, be able to walk up to a homeless shelter with bags full of clothes and say, here, just take it. Because me and my husband are really big on helping others. And in any way that we can help another person is a benefit for us. I mean, there's blessings that come. I'm very strong in faith, and those who help others help themselves. And if I'm able to give to others, well, shoot, then my eBay sales are just going to keep going, because that's God blessing me with the ability to keep continuing to help others. That's why I got my mom. My mom's on a fixed income. I'm willing to pay her fees on DS Domination and Infinity, on eBay. I'm buying her some product that she can start selling for the first 90 days because she's on a fixed income. She don't have that extra money, but it's going to get her rolling. And she's going to be on a strict, you got to do this. Don't spend that profit. It's got to go back in, but it's so that down the road, she won't have to struggle like she is now. Same with my sister. She don't have to struggle if she would just get off her butt and list. That's my biggest thing. If you're not going to do the job or the work, it's not a job. If you don't do the work to make your business run, how do you think Walmart became what it is? They had to work at it to make a name for themselves, to make, get the product. Henry Ford, how many people told him, you can't do it. It's never going to work. You can't have a motorized car. Everybody laughing at him. And he had pitfalls. He built a car and it just fell apart, but he kept at it. And now look, Ford is one of the biggest selling car companies in the world. So who are you to tell me I can't do e-commerce if I'm willing to put the effort in? I'm a Henry Ford, dude. And it's about to blow up.
That's right. Now, I know you've heard of Infinii.
I'm excited.
I'm wondering how you see that fitting into your plans.
I think that Infinii is going to, I actually believe, DS Domination has got a lot of good tools. For one, within Infinii, you can actually really help people. You build a team and you can sit here like I'm doing with you with 10 people on my computer and say, look at what do we need to do today? Let's make a list of, okay, such and such. What do you got to do today to get, to help your business grow? Does anybody need help with listing? How to list? Does anybody need help with where to go to arbitrage, depending on where you live in the country? Research together. And Infinii opens up all of that because you can have a team under you that you can coach on a daily basis if that's what it takes. I'm willing to do it. And I am so excited about building a team, and we all going to get rich, and we're going to have one big family reunion, and we're all going to be rolling up in our Rolls Royces or whatever kind of car you like, saying, hey, let's go to Bahamas for a week and have a big party or whatever. I'm excited about Infinii. I see the big possibilities in the fact that you don't have to pay a lot out of pocket. I mean, even if you got the biggest package of $300, $399 is really not that much compared to what you get and what you learn. And the thing I like the most is that those videos and your team members that you may be under are there to help you. So ask your questions, because they're not gonna let you down. They're not gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna give you the answer to that because I'm giving my secrets away. They're not gonna do that. I wouldn't do that. Because, okay, still one of my products. I don't care. Hey, more for you. If you're selling it, I'll find something else, or I'll, whatever. I'm about helping people. And I think that that's why I'm so excited about Infinii, because that's what Infinii is built to do, to help everybody, to help people that are on a fixed income, people that may have not any income right now, may have lost their job. Get somebody to help you.
I am looking forward to the Book Boss, FBA Book Boss coming out.
I want to get the whole couponing thing, because that's going to be my thing.
Of course, that's right.
Yeah, I want to. That's what I want. Man, I can't wait. I learned couponing. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Yes. Okay. Now, Olivia, before we go, I want to thank you so much for this. This has been such an eye-opener. This has been so uplifting. You are certainly someone who does not take excuses. You search for solutions. And I think that is one of the main things that people are going to go away with, seeing just how, not really easy, but just how simple it is to have that type of a mindset. What things you can overcome when you have that mindset. That was just amazing. That was so good. So
that's the biggest thing. Overcome.
Yes, that's right. So thank you so much for giving your time and for sharing, and I'm so glad you were the first one in this spotlight.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So I will be seeing you later, everyone. We will still have our regular Team NEOS meetings that are on our Hangout page on Mondays, so you can check us there, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right.
Do, 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 do.